Okay, the third of the three big rules for implementing bring your own device, bring your own technology, cell phones in the classroom, those are all the places we gathered information, is monitoring. It's very important to make sure that you realize that this technology is just another tool in the classroom. It is neither good or evil. And if you don't realize that it's just another tool, there will be individuals who may choose to consider it the behavior problem. It really isn't. It's the monitoring of what goes on in the classroom. And the simple rules that we were able to cull out of all the research that we looked at is make sure you have a rule that the technology and it is out and displayed unless it's a red light day. You know, if the students are using it down under the table or something like that, you're really not aware of what's going on. And if you start from the very beginning requiring, and most of the schools recommended that you have it set out on the left-hand corner of the desk, or it's in your hands where I can clearly see it, that it never goes to a place where the teacher can't see what's going on should they walk by, because that's when opportunities arrive that could cause some problems. So we really encourage, and if you don't say it, and if it's not the way you start using it, then it can become a real problem. So we really thought that it made a lot of sense that the teacher be able to eyeball the technology that is being used. So whatever the device is, it's either out on the left-hand corner of their desk, their table, whatever they're working on, or it's in their hands, but in a manner that you can look at it, you can see it, and see what's going on that. Okay? And always remember, when a student seems to be just totally absorbed by it, you may want to look a little bit closer. It is not ridiculous for you to make statements along the lines and consistently use clear, very clear instructions on control, like put your technology face down. If you want to get their attention to you, you may want to do something that simple. Or your hands on the head and reach for the stars. I never was a big fan for that. You know, 100% of the eyes up here. The teacher controls what's happening with that. So I'm going to take a breath and see if we have any questions. I noticed that Deborah did get back in with us. I don't know. I think we might have lost her again, but she was for a second there. Okay.
Jana, we are still attempting. We've had multiple devices. Not having any luck out there. So anyway, well, you're seeing her get in and out periodically.
That's why I did. Okay. One of the most important rules of monitoring is to be with the students, working around the students. Free tech time or open tech time. Free tech would not be the word I'd really want to use, but open tech time, green light time, where students are working on a project and able to work literally through almost anything they may choose to find the answer to the question that you have challenged them with, or solve the situation, research whatever they're doing on. That is the time for the teacher to be up and moving around. Not sitting at their desk grading last period's paper, or not sitting at the desk updating whatever they may choose to do. You really need to realize that if you provide opportunities for students to go to other places or do other things with the internet, they're going to be drawn to that. So this picture I used here is to really challenge you. I'm not sure who the teacher is in this picture. These are high school age kids. The teacher is in the picture. They actually are in the back left-hand corner, or back corner of on the left, right up on the top there. But that's the type of classroom you want to be using when you have a green light day. The other thing that you want to do is make sure you're using your student technology leadership, because the tenets of STLP are all about students being part of the solution to applying the technology in a very effective and positive manner. Okay? These are the few techniques that we actually were discovered when we did our different sharing. I'd like to see if anybody has something that their school has realized, or any of the CES staff, items that you've uncovered that you'd like to share with the group. If you just kind of let me know, you can raise your hand. Deborah, I'm glad you're in. We're right at the end, but at least it's working now. Any techniques that have been used by your schools or that you've read about? I am unmuting when possible. And Jody, you're not able to join in with that. Okay. And Deborah is typing now that she has joined us. Just want to remind that Fairdale had shared already a couple things. Jody, if you'd like to type in anything that Valley's doing. Deborah is using the face down on the desk, and I know y'all are also doing, Deborah, regular training. Are you comfortable? You actually have an open mic if you have a mic that's working. I would love for you to share, because I know y'all are being very intentional at Wagner with your training, and I suspect that Fairdale is as well. All right, and Steve, I know that. I won't be far behind you. We're just about at wrap up. Okay. We did have a few less people than originally anticipated. I will be sharing this presentation out to those of you in attendance, and we'll actually be posting it up. What I've cited here are the websites that we used for all of our ideas. They also will give you some other ideas that you may choose to use as you're moving ahead. We are pretty anxious to move to a second phase of link sessions that will be working with the schools to help identify. What we're thinking is if we could find teachers that are using just really simple tools, either to start their class, in the middle of their class, or at the end of their class, that would be able to be used regardless of the platform, that we'd like to have some very quick teacher-to-teacher sessions by link that they could do live, and then we'll also be sharing them off our website so that people can just real quickly jump in and see some techniques. And I'll be following up with each of you on that. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Thank you very much, Leanne, on the citation. I'm sure they're not quite up to APH quality, but at least I didn't want to steal the ideas, because most of these were not original. And in fact, there's not a lot of large programs. In fact, the best we can find out there, having 8 schools at the size of our schools, we're probably one of the largest implementations of bring your own device, bring your own technology, whatever, in the nation. Most of them seem to be occurring in smaller schools and smaller districts. Shar, Steve, and I just had the opportunity to go to the Wireless Ed Conference, and none of the examples during the entire conference came from schools that are the size of most of our schools that are participating in this project. So because of the work on the schools, CES, or computer education support, totally gives credit to those of you at the schools that chose to be these innovators and are here to try to help move this ahead across the 8 schools, and then hopefully out to those people who aren't quite as brave as the first 8 schools. And I think Sarah's got something she's adding in, and we'll call it a day. After we get our last closing remarks, anybody that wants to add anything? Yes, I agree with you, Sarah. Hooray for the early adopters. So thank you to all of you who attended. We're actually a little early. No, Deborah's typing a little bit in. Yeah. And I know, Deborah, I'll send you the link to the video. As most of you can see, Deborah's typing, so we're going to wait and see. A lot of training and patience and a willing teacher. Yeah, I appreciate that both from you, Deborah, and Brad also said that earlier from Fairdale. I really appreciate this being an option for teachers. I think that if someone is resistant, they need to see other people being successful. So I really applaud, and the schools we're working with, I mean, I know the leadership that is provided both from the administration, but also from the individuals like the school technology coordinators and the teacher leaders. You understand how to move ahead innovation. So I'm with Sarah on applause to the early adopters. Thank you very much. And we'll be sending out information or gathering up information on a next tier of opportunity that we'll share out. Bye-bye.